Terraforming Mars, a very well-loved, popular game, at least in this house. Let's talk about it. Coming up. Hi, Stella.
And Tarrant here from Meeple University. Today we're going to talk about Terraforming Mars.
The game that it's probably on our top 10 game ever.
Yeah, so this is the first in a new series of videos where we're just going to talk about some well-loved existing games. You know, just stick to the games that that are well known and well
loved.
We just want to talk about.
Yeah, we just want to talk about it. And also, in this new series, we also want to hear what you think of this game. And because this game has been out for a while, I'm sure there are a lot of you that like it, or hate it, or haven't played it, wanted to play it. And let us know in the comments, and we'll just open that discussion in the comments.
Yeah. No, I think there's no doubt that out of all the heavy games that we've played, out of all the heavy modern games we've played, by far we've played this one the most times. Yeah. Certainly out of all the long games, maybe say long instead of heavy.
Yeah.
We first played it at a convention, at the MeepleCon convention.
Indeed.
It was in very high demand. The library had a copy and none of the stores did. So it was in rotation all weekend and we managed to get our slot.
I think I told you. I think that's how somebody taught me, and then I taught you.
I forget the sequence, but I know I did. I know I hadn't heard of it going into that convention and came out of it thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't? I mean, I just assume everyone likes it. How did you first find out about it? Let us know as well. What is the thing that makes you, oh, wow?
I think what I always enjoyed about playing the game is that there were so many different combinations and so many different ways towards scoring points. And once you know the combos and you can get into drafting, you can be looking for specific things. So it really builds up quite nicely there. I like, the one or two actions thing, some control over the pace of the game where there is... And there's just enough importance on sequence in some areas, getting the right spot on the map or getting the awards and objectives and milestones in particular. Those things come together in a really interesting way, and it gives you so many different things to think about. And I think you see enough cards generally to get a good strategy going as well.
I think it's good to play with those who have played it a few times as well, because we feel like, let's say, well, this is one of our most favorite games. Obviously, we're going to try to get our friends, introduce it to our friends to play it, but then again, they are not too familiar, so I feel like, maybe I feel bad for them not knowing things. Anyways, we usually play with those new people not card drafting, which is not what we prefer. Like, drafting is like just, we wouldn't go without it, and that's why we love it. That's why we love it so much. There's, like what Tarrant says, there's a few things, like so many things you can do. Like, look at this, like a corporation cards. I mean, you get two, right? You get two at the start.
Two and choose. There's an awful lot of them now.
Look at those now. Like do we have all the expansions? I'm pretty sure we do. We do. From Venus Next, Colonies, Turmoil, and Hellas and Elysium. This is the main one. I even have the first player token that I got from Essen, from the designers themselves, from Frix Games. No, Frix Games, yeah. Frix Game. So, and, obviously, there's so many versions of aftermarket playboard because it was not double-layered. It was, it was single-layered, but then there's
single-layered. I mean, everyone knows this game came into the market with a lot of cards where they saved on art with a lot of stock footage, with a lot of pieces where they saved on manufacturing costs with simplification of the pieces. I mean, everyone knows that. It's become such a big game that they've been able to put out these extra boards. You know, I'm not going to be grumpy about the fact that they're making a production cost that works for them, because individually tailored art on all of these would have been far too hard for them to,
because
far
there's
too
so many
difficult for it to get to market in the first place.
Yeah, I think we sleeve all the cards, the project cards, and it's just so much. And I remember, because of that, not everything fits in one box. We don't have the big box.
That's true.
Unfortunately,
we've got a separate box for
we
all
should
of
probably
them.
get that to put everything, even like arrows. We put it should be like it's a separate game, anyways. Anyways, yes.
I think one of the things I've always really that's really appealed to me as I've played the game a lot of times is recognizing where the science and engineering comes in. And I mean, I'm engineering. I like thinking in that way, and I really like the way certain things fit together. Like, you know, as simple as power turning into heat. If you're generating power and not using it anywhere, it turns into heat. That's that's scientifically valid. And you're crashing asteroids into the planet to heat it up, which is valid. You're building forests to make oxygen. You know, these things are all real. And then you've got building power state. I really like the fact, once I finally realized what was going on, I really enjoyed the fact that, you know, usually you're spending your resources, but when you're spending power, you're usually spending a power production to build a city. And when it sort of clicked with me that, hang on, okay, I've built a power station and then I'm permanently deploying that power station in running this city. It just all fits together scientifically so well.
Thematically.
And then it also fits together in what is a really interesting game. I think you've got all the engines that work on your cards, but then also having the map there and having such a big map and so many things that you can play in with the map placement and the points you can get from that it's what makes, you know, it's what adds a lot of complexity to the game if you're doing it first time. It is what makes the game so much fun.
And replayability. That's what I like about it, that replayability and the amount of cards and the amount of strategies that you can do. That's one. And then second is the engine building. Sometimes your engine just doesn't go. Sometimes it's go well, it go quickly. I tend to stick to plans, I think. That's what my favorite. Yeah, what is your favorite? Let us know. Like, do you have a favorite? Like, mine would be plans or energy. Oh, that's a simple one. Or something Venus now that with the expansion. What is your favorite?
I don't have a specific favourite. I'll go with whatever cards I get early on. It's nice making one of the more obscure ones work. It's nice making a Jupiter one work. Science is a rare one that I've seen, but it's nice making the science one work because there are some really powerful science cards.
Did we do the science one before? I feel like we might have.
We once played a game with colonies, I think, and I finally started trying a science strategy for the first time, and one of the other people we were playing with also did. And it was actually a really strong fight for the science.
Science stacks. Oh no. And the draft must be like, oh yeah, I'll definitely get that science stack cards. Yeah, and then that engine building, it doesn't matter whether you build it, how you build it, in multiple ways. There's kind of like a sense of satisfaction in a way when you see your engine build. Sometimes it doesn't work. A lot of times probably doesn't work for me. But, you know, like trying to collect those cards that help each other. I would like to play more of the microbe and animal strategy, although that needs to be combined with something else, I think, because that's more usually towards end of game strategy.
Microbe can be throughout, but it's slow. Animals are really strong at the end. But, you know, that's what makes some of the expansions that have been introduced change the game so much. And colonies is the one that can really make those strategies work, because I think I counted it up once. There's like 9 animal tags in the entire base deck.
You have a table.
I have a table. I tried to work out how rare are the Earth cards versus the Jupiter cards, so I could get the sense for what was going on.
Do you still have that table?
Yeah, it's still around here somewhere.
But it's probably changed now, isn't it?
It will have changed because I added it's got the Venus and it's got that there, just my notes. But You know, buildings are on a third of all cards. Space is about 20%. Science is 35 out of 200. So that's...
You should probably load it up, or somebody would have probably got that as well online.
And then animals are only 9. So it's...
there you go.
It sort of
in a
drives
bigger deck, like now it's like ever expanding deck. It's probably a little bit harder for animal.
But yeah, I enjoy playing. You know, I enjoy pretty much every expansion. Venus adds. You know, Venus is the one that feels. I know you enjoy playing with Venus. It gives you a different path to go down.
Yeah.
It's the one that feels the most. Not the most different, because there's a lot of things that change it, but it's the one that feels, I guess, to me, the most tacked on.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. So I find that, like, I think not everyone likes Venus expansion. Will let us know if that's what you like, but I tend to, like, gravitate towards that because, like, the floaters.
Floaters, yep. Because then one of the other expansions, I think it's Colonies, adds Jovian floaters as well, and it makes a big an extra thing you can do with the floaters, which I think brought it back together a little bit. Yeah, Colonies is the one that is, I find...
Your favourite?
I do like the way it changes the game. I wouldn't always play with it necessarily, but you know, it gives you more reliable ways of getting animals or microbes or floaters or some of the things that are generally much more deck hunting, and it means you can really get some of those engines rolling, and the scores are a lot higher and the games are a lot longer playing with Colonies. So you really do have to be ready for a full night if you're going to play it with Colonies.
And that means that you can afford to have a slower engine building.
Yeah. Or go for those ones that are usually a little more risky.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Oh yeah, like animals. Because it'll take a while. You're right, yeah, and science maybe. A little bit risky. Yeah. I always, well, I know that the corporate cards are, you get 2 or something? 2 or 3, and then you get to choose one. Well, obviously, Ecoline.
Ecoline probably won the first 3 games we played or something.
Oh, really? Because for beginner game, it's probably easier to just do that because plants worth a lot. Yeah. And then there's, like, other stuff. I wish that probably it's drafting, or not that 5, or you can pick what you want. That's not fair. Or 5 out of the 1 out of the 5 or something, probably, because like there's so many now, and then and depends on what cards you have as well. You get to see it right at the same time and then choose. Yeah, okay. So yeah, those are the cards. And
I know Prelude is very well loved. It is the most common complaint about this game that it's very long. Right. Prelude kicks things off quite effectively.
Oh yeah, that extra, not like extra cooperation. Where do we have this?
The extra, it's like a 1-page rule book, but it's just extra free stuff to start your game and give you something to build around, and it is a really good way to introduce. We've got the extra board, the Hellas and Elysium, and we will have played with each board several times, and they just give you extra planet options, which is nice.
Different things to go for. I always forget that word.
Objectives and milestones and awards.
Milestones and awards.
Yep. I did find there was one of the sides, I think it was the blue one. I think that's Hellas. Might be Elysium. I forget. Yeah. There's one of the sides where they don't mesh together very well. I always liked the combination of milestones and awards on the base board because it felt like they really worked together. It was like, your leftover mining and your leftover money production, and it was like every resource had its place in the game, and the ones that were strong, like plants, didn't have anything in the milestones and awards. That was a little bit more random on the other sides, and there was one in particular which was like most resources on cards. Okay. And it was like, I found some microbe cards, and now that was kind of what drove it. It was a little bit, and there was one that was 4 of the bio tags, and those ones felt a little bit more random. Okay,
that's fair.
And then of course there's the classic one that no one goes for, the planner objective on the base board.
Have you actually? No, you tried it once. I tried it once.
I did try it once, and I did get the objective.
What is it? So you have 16 cards?
You have 16 cards in your hand. So I did get it. I did not win.
Find it.
That's Those are corporations.
The objective.
It's on the board.
Oh, on the board, sorry. Oh, right. I thought that's a corporation. Okay, that's right, yeah.
So I did get the objective, but I lost by quite a lot. It feels like a very tough card.
For some reason, I thought it's a corporation as well. No, yeah.
Because you've got to spend so much money up front getting these cards.
$3.
$3 each getting the cards.
Not
and
dollars,
you basically give up your first 2 or 3 rounds of engine building getting there.
I wonder if there's a way of where that will work. By the way, I've interviewed the designers, and I've got the strategy tip. Yep. And I remember one thing, or you can find it in Meeple University somewhere. It was at Essen, Spiel. There's one that says, do not underestimate the cards. You see something, just hold on to it, even though you have to hold on to it a little bit longer. I'm like, okay, if it works with you, don't end up with no cards.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, I know. In that second last generation, sometimes having no cards, you feel very weak, and you're limited to just putting. To doing general projects, which can be valuable if the board is laid out appropriately. Yeah, I think the only expansion, the new one, Turmoil, we've only played that the once. It added quite a few new things. I don't know if I would always play with Turmoil.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd always play with Colonies either, because it depends on the sort of game and the length you're looking for.
That's true.
But I don't know if I'll end up playing with Turmoil that often.
Okay. Well, there are other options. That's the thing, though. It's kind of like a modular thing that you can mix and match, and not almost. But I understand you don't really like Venus that much.
I don't dislike Venus.
Yeah.
I feel thematically it's the one I struggled to connect with the most.
Like a tacton, is that what you say? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But I do enjoy playing with Venus, and I'll play a Venus strategy every so often.
Then we play again. Let us know what you think, or even if you have a favorite corporation, you have a favorite milestones that you usually go for. When you say favorite, it's not always you can achieve it. It depends on what cards you have and so on, and favorite expansions maybe. Or even if you play Terraforming Mars Eris. We have a review video for Terraforming Mars Eris separately, and we also have playthrough for Terraforming Mars Eris. We've got all Terraforming Mars everywhere. We just don't have this Terraforming Mars review. This is the first time we do video of Terraforming Mars on its own. So I'm like, okay, let's do it because I really like it. Let's, be probably in this series. More to come. Hopefully, we want to feature games that's probably been out for a while, that a few people have played it, well loved, well regarded, that we probably haven't actually done stuff, or maybe we have, but we just want to feature those games, oldies but goodies, not that old, but older but goodies, because older games is also great, not just new games.
Yep. The other thing, I guess it's been a while since I've played solo. But I did play solo early on a few times, back before we lived together, basically. Yeah. I did play solo a few times. It's probably, and I haven't played solo with a whole lot of the expansions. I know there's rules in there for it. But I reckon it's also one of my top solo games.
Oh.
I really found the times I played it, you've got to max everything out inside 14 rounds. And it was always really tight, and it was always really slow at the start, and it kind of built up. And I just enjoyed the way that built up. You really had to go hunting for strategies, hunting for combos, and really make them work. And we recently played Eris with the 2-player cooperative, which is very similar.
That's good as well. Yeah, that's right. And this one doesn't have cooperative. Well, I wish there's a cooperative for Terraforming Mars, not Eris. I mean, Eris is good too, but can you imagine that? Oh,
you could probably adapt the 2-player. Yeah. There would be a way, you'd have to balance it, of course, but there would be a way of adapting the 2-player co-op style from Eris into the board game, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And we've only done it, I reckon we've only played competitive 2-player once.
Oh, yeah, I think so. The rest is at least 3 players and then 4 players.
Usually 3, 4, or 5.
5, yeah.
But I really enjoyed it at 2 players as well with drafting. And it had a very different feel, which still kind of worked because the drafting it became much more of a hate draft.
Yeah, for sure.
And-
you just take it, but you don't buy it at the end.
Yep. And the milestones became so much more critical because they became a 10-point swing.
Yeah.
And I remember when we played, I was falling quite behind, and I'm sure I lost. But I remember with the awards, I got to like the 6th or 7th generation, and there was a couple of the awards that you were so far ahead on that I basically spent my entire generation funding the 3 awards that I had some chance of winning.
Just to get
them. Because if you jumped in and got the 2 that you were miles ahead on and the one that you were most likely ahead on, that's 15 points to you and 15 points away from me. It was like a 30-point swing, and it was... I just enjoyed having that different way of thinking about the milestone side of the game. And it's always the thing you get in any 2-player game where it becomes... the swing doubles the value of something.
I remember you speaking about milestones, which you actually missed. Like, you also like Terraforming Mars Eras, but you kind of missed that part of Terraforming Mars in Eras. Milestones.
I miss the milestones. I miss the map. I miss the power stations and cities. It's just all that stuff I said early on about having so many ways to go and so many different things to do. I come to Ares and I lose a couple of the things that I really enjoy.
I think we're going to have to stop there because we can talk on and on and on about Terraforming Mars, but we're going to stop there and then encourage you to let us know what you think. As I say again, your favorites or your dislike. Have you played 2 players? Have you got solo? And let us know, is there any other games that you've played that has got the similar feel to Terraforming Mars? Engine build is one, probably.
I recently realised that Terraforming Mars is game as Talisman. Because I think back to playing Talisman when I was growing up. And it was kind of, you went around and you did your own thing and you tried to build up your engine. And at the end of the day, someone would win. And I kind of actually feel like it's like that because you're going around, you're getting your own cards, you're trying to build your own thing up. But it's not a roll to move, roll to combat game.
No, it's not, because it'll be horrible if it is like that in Terraforming Mars.
Yep. And it can take the whole night.
Yep. Well, Talisman's only an hour or so, I think. It's quick.
Oh no, Talisman took the whole... It used to be a whole night thing.
What, really?
Yeah,
so does Terraforming Mars.
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually true. All right, I get your point now.
Talisman is game as Monopoly, and Terraforming Mars is game as Talisman.
Okay. All right, there you go. Inception here. Yeah. So what you think, let us know. And let us know as well if you want us to feature any games that we've probably have played as well in the comments. That's our doorbell. And let us know if you have a game that you would like us to feature, perhaps in the comments sections below. We might feature it. It depends if we have played a few times. And that's basically it. If you find this useful, please help us. Hit that like button and subscribe to us. And you can also hit the bell in the corner. There's Meeple there. And you get notification when we have new videos. I'm also on Instagram, so hopefully we can find each other there. And we will see you in our next videos. Bye-bye.
Bye.